I believe we're absolutely repeating cycles. I'm gonna put my head down because I don't want Sir to kick me out. We just put fake designer clothes on it and on generational trauma, and then we call it preference, right? So a lot of our intimacy and our patterns that developed started in rape and survival, right? So during slavery, sex wasn't covenant, right? It was commerce. And so those patterns never were buried. They was just baptized. So we learned to perform for safety and we fake for protection. And so now sex is just a transaction. And so you have people now that aren't even planting seeds. It's just they collect and supply, right? They jumping from bed to bed, not because they are in love, and it's not because God told them to. God didn't tell nobody to secretly fornicate with people, whether they men or women or married or not. It's just you running low on egotistical adoration. So here you can use this later, sir. The king of lies is ugly and he stink. But what he doesn't do is he doesn't create new tactics. He just rebrands old traumas. So we're repeating cycles, not because we wicked, it's just because we wounded.
Okay, Tez, I think what's going to happen here is you and I are going to finish the show. That's the professor and prophet. That's it for them tonight. What do you agree?
Yeah, they cooking too much, but I can't keep up with this, man.
Excellent stuff. Now, it's an interesting thing you say this, because you're saying that there are no new tactics. What's new to us is just really a rebrand. Underneath, the mechanics of it is just the same thing. And I think this is why it's important to have these kind of conversations, so that people understand you're not going through anything new. It's just be rebranded. The enemy is a great marketer. He knows precisely how to reach his demographic. It's just repackaged. Is the same old tactic. Now, lady, sassy prophet, did you have something? Sassy professor, I probably said it right. You have something to add to this as well?
What's interesting is I agree with everybody. I think we're just reestablishing dysfunction. Anytime that I was in a class and one of my apostles said this, and I thought, wow, this is really something. He was saying, anytime a family doesn't answer a call from God, then they keep doing the same dysfunction that they were previously doing. So the new generation has nothing left to build on. So you keep just regurgitating everything that you do over and over, which is leading to what some would consider biblically as your generational curse, or what we think is behavioral patterns. Something else I find that's interesting is this. From both of you men speaking on here, I always have a issue with this here. People that are happily married, they hardly ever speak. You hardly ever hear from them. And that's for more than one reason. For one reason, you hardly ever hear from them because the people that are unhappily married are so loud and can't be quiet because they're so unhappy. But the other reason is that the ones that are happy, they're always picked apart when they come on to try to tell you what made them happy or how it actually worked for them. The other thing is, like I said, especially unhappy men and unhappy women, but unhappy men seem to talk to other men a little bit more, or is more accepted than unhappy women. When a woman is unhappy, she'll still kind of fake it, because we going back to ego, we want to kind of play like it's cool, for the most part, unless it's just so detrimental that it's out that ain't nothing we can lie about. But it seems like the bro code of the men seems like y'all kind of share that a little bit more amongst yourselves, and even glorify that a little bit more in the music, in the media, or whatever have you, until it spins out of control, like some of the other hosts that may have to pay $50 million to certain people, or something like that. Once it costs, then all of a sudden it's different. But I noticed that it's a little bit more magnified on the male side for that particular thing. But yeah, we are definitely just recycling. And I would like to know, why don't the more happily married men correct these other group of men that are, just talking wild and don't know what they're talking about? Why don't we shut them down more than what we do? I would call some names when we're on YouTube. I don't want to, start nothing too much, but it's a couple of them. They're having shows all the time. They got people on there that talking all out the side of their neck, and I'm like, you don't have no fruit, ain't been married, can't keep one woman or 10, ain't got nothing going on for yourself, just complaining, fussing, whining, beating the wall, in a fetal position, doing all that. And you steady complaining and not getting anywhere, and leading a lot of other men and other people astray. So I want to know why a lot of men that are stronger, men that are married, men they don't say, yo, young school, that ain't what it is, dog. You're going to end up being in a nursing home by yourself or whatever. I don't know why they're not being corrected or on a mass scale corrected. Why are we allowing them to glorify this more so?